Good morning. This is Cecil in Blues. Thank you for joining me for another Final Fantasy XIV Heaven's Ward video. Today I just want to briefly sum up the Live Letter 25, which aired early morning on the 25th of October. It mainly covered patch 3.1, but one major change coming in 3.2 was also discussed. I'm going to do my best to keep this brief. If you'd like more details, I will include links to the official English summary on the Final Fantasy XIV forums, as well as a link to a fan translation in the video description below. The first big announcement, patch 3.1, will go live on November 10th. No date for patch 3.15 was provided. Heaven's Ward's first beast tribe will be the Vanu Vanu, and will introduce a new level adjustment system, including scaled experience points for leveling characters. Rewards include a Sanua mount and a Pyasa minion, or as I call them, those walnut owl things. The Vanu Vanu dance was implied, but I don't think it was explicitly stated. Access to Ravana EX no longer requires clearing Bismarck EX. Both will now be available in the Duty Finder as of 3.1. Aether Currents are being moved off of the multi-stage side quests. The implication is that they will all be earned by completing the main scenario. A feature to hide system messages during cutscenes will be available. If they go to improve that feature to also suppress incoming whisper notifications, I would greatly appreciate that myself. And we've got an adjustment to the Soul Resonance and Soul Attunement steps in the Zodiac Weapon questline. It will allow progress to be earned while in undersized parties, and the light values are being raised again. The exact amount being raised was not mentioned. The Anima Weapon questline, which is the level 60 relic quests, will begin in patch 3.15, and an advantage will be given to players who have completed the Zeta weapon. They will be able to choose any new weapon to give that advantage to. If you have completed multiple Zeta weapons, you will be able to select multiple Anima weapons. I don't know what the advantage is, but I'm happy to hear that you aren't locked into your original weapon. If you changed your main job in Heaven's Ward, you'll be able to select that one, even if you had a different one. Yoshi P suggested that the advantage will be minor and advised against pursuing a Zeta weapon if that was the only reason you were going to do it. The airship exploratory missions are a major feature in patch 3.1, and many details were provided in this live letter. You can participate in an exploratory mission once every 2 hours. Each mission can last a maximum of 90 minutes. There are no daily or weekly limits outside of this, and no loot restrictions. Monster tagging in exploratory areas will work like hunt targets or fates. You will require a rank 10 airship to launch an easy exploration mission from your guild house. Harder missions will require that you discover the island in an exploratory voyage, and will also require a rank 25 airship for a normal mission and a rank 50 airship for a hard mission. It does appear that harder missions will only be available through guild airships. Also, guilds can deploy up to 3 airships to a single mission, which will allow them to bring 24 players to participate. You must have at least 2 FC members in each party in order to launch a mission from your house. Players not in a free company will be able to participate through the Duty Finder. I believe you have to go to a location in Foundation to actually queue up, but it will work similar to the Duty Finder. You will only be able to participate in easy missions, it sounds like. Otherwise, you can join guilds who are recruiting directly and go on their missions. Each island can hold up to 9 full parties. After that, a separate instance will be created. So you're not going to have your entire server running around out there, so in case people were worried about the performance. While on the mission, it is possible to switch between classes as needed. Gathering nodes in these areas will be accessible to level 60 gatherers, and they did imply that it would require pretty minimal gear. So I guess all of us who may have worked Excessively hard to collect red scripts gear might feel like we wasted our time, perhaps. I don't know. They didn't give a lot of details. Equipment rewards that you earn here. If it's something that isn't actually useful to you, you could turn it in for some form of currency, and then that currency can be used to purchase new flying mounts, crafting materials, crafting recipes, shards, materia, and more. Equipment can also be desynthesized. The exploratory missions will award esoterics. There will be a series of 3 objectives, and if you complete them, you will receive an amount of esoterics. I don't believe they shared the exact amount. While on the subject of free companies, though, 2 new housing features will go live with 3.1. The first is house sharing. It will allow players to share their house with up to 3 players. Players can accept up to 2 housing sharing invitations. So you can have access to up to 3 other players' houses. Your own included, I guess. Your house, and then 2 that you choose to share. If you are sharing your house, you can share it with up to 3 players. The automatic reclamation of housing feature will also go live with 3.1. To avoid confusion, I am going to directly quote Bayon's post here from the forums. Houses that have not been entered for more than 45 days and land that has not had a house built on it for more than 45 days will be automatically reclaimed. After 35 days have passed, an email will be sent to all FC members and owners of private houses, informing them that this is going to happen. If you have been subject to automatic reclamation, you will be able to receive an 80% refund in gil for the price you paid for the land from the resident caretaker in the housing ward. You will also be able to retrieve indoor and outdoor furnishings that were not destroyed upon removal. You will need to retrieve your refund within 35 days. Okay, so a couple of additional things from me. Timers start when 3.1 launches. So if you haven't been playing for a while, don't worry, you're not immediately going to lose your house. But if you're concerned about it, you're probably going to want to get your subscription going again and get in there. When they say an email, they mean an in-game email. So this is only going to serve as a warning or a reminder to active players. If you're not actively playing, then you're probably not going to notice that you received an in-game email. Also, for personal houses, the owner must be the one to enter the house to reset the timer. If you're using the house sharing feature, that will not protect you. If you've decided to take a break and you share your house with someone else and tell them to go into your house every couple of weeks, that's not going to help. You're still going to lose your house after 45 days. So the other thing, the 35-day limit on receiving your refund, that is going to result in a lot of angry returning players. People who have taken a few months off, and they come back and they find out not only did they lose their house, but they also missed out on their refund. I think this is going to affect a very small number of players, but those players are going to be very angry. I hope that customer service has all the tools they need to treat these players fairly and make sure they don't, go insane. I don't know. I don't know what you need to do for players in these circumstances. I feel like they need to be compensated. Houses aren't cheap, and it took a lot of effort to get them. And I think there's going to be a lot of hurt feelings with this. So let's move on to some happier things. Here's another list of random features that are being added in 3.1. There's going to be new mounts, including a Pegasus and a Wyvern. New minions, including Twin Tanya and Ifrit. They said that additional primals will be getting minions as well. They showed off the new hairstyles that were added from the hairstyle contest. There will be a new group camera function where you can sync emotes and make everyone look at the camera so you can get those fun screenshots of your whole guild accomplishing whatever it is you wanted. Your camera, while we're talking about it, it will go into this kind of idle free roaming mode when you are AFK. I don't know, maybe this will prevent monitor burnout for all of you still using CRT monitors. Those still exist, right? Let us look at loot restrictions in Alexander Normal will be lifted in 3.1. Enemies in level 50 dungeons will now award experience points. Enemies in level 51 and higher dungeons will award an increased amount of experience. Difficulty of most level 51 to 59 dungeons and trials have been reduced, as well as some adjustments being made to level 50 content. Garuda was mentioned in particular. Which is weird, because Garuda is super easy, so I wonder if they mean they're making it harder. Let's see. There are fixes for ninja mudras to hopefully help players with high latency, and an invisible monk weapon glamour item will be available in 3.1. You can expect adjustments to Red Gathering scripts. The level 50 crafting master books and relics will be easier to obtain. A search feature is being added for recipes. New retainer ventures and options are being added. Desynthesis will be easier to level as of 3.1. The old 1.0 gathering system minigames are being added as new arcade cabinets in the Gold Saucer. There will be new items available for purchase for MGP, and new Triple Triad cards and NPCs to play against. Higher MGP rewards are being given for gates and for the Jumbo Cacpot. When asked about a possible glamour database, they said that there were no plans to include this. Like, the specific question was maybe include some sort of book that you can record items in, or automatically record items in when you acquire them, and then maybe you can pull the glamours out of the book as opposed to needing the item itself. They said they had no plans of doing something or something similar, and that they would continue to increase inventory space as needed. I was very sad to hear that. But let's move on to other things. We're trying to keep this brief, right? All right. Let's try it again. Lords of Verminion was demonstrated. Matches last around 10 minutes. You'll be able to choose which minions to take into battle, what order to deploy them in, and give movement orders. There will be a tutorial available so you can learn the basic controls against an NPC opponent. They mentioned that Minfilia's hairstyle and equipment will be added to the Mog Station for purchase in the near future. And then they moved on to battle content. The Void Arc will drop all equipment slots except for weapons, and it will also drop a currency used to purchase upgrade materials for esoteric equipment. Currently, weapon upgrades will not be available through this method, but it will be added in a future patch. Knights of the Round EX is a challenging encounter, harder than Ravana EX, on par with Alexander Savage Floor 1. There are 10 phases in the Knights of the Round EX fight, and they said that a DPS check is not going to be what makes this encounter hard, so I assume there's going to be a lot of mechanics, and keeping track of what's going on is going to be important. If you can win the fight, you will have a chance to earn powerful new weapons. I assume themed after the weapons they use, because, I mean, that kind of makes sense, right? Alright, they wrapped things up by preparing us for an upcoming change to materia in 3.2. You will be unable to meld primary stats, including vitality, into extra meld as of 3.2. So you can still meld primary stats into open slots, but if you're over melding an item, you will no longer be able to do that. Base stats on crafted gear will be increased to compensate for this. Also, Tombstone and Raid gear are going to gain materia slots in 3.2. These are really big changes to materia for Final Fantasy XIV, but still a long ways off. We're probably going to get more details in the coming months, and who knows, things could shift and change, so don't panic yet, but if you have feedback on it, go to the forums, let them know. The final announcement was a collaboration event for the Final Fantasy XI final patch, which goes live on November 11th. They didn't give any details on what that is, but they did say that, you know, it'll somehow be related to what it is, and you can experience both if you play Final Fantasy XI and then participate in the collaboration event. It will be satisfying to you, or maybe the collaboration event in 14 will encourage you to maybe return back to Vandiel and experience the final content there. But I don't know, not me. I'm happy with 14 myself. All right. It was a dense letter, and I've skipped over previously announced details unless they included new information. If you'd like to read the full summaries, I have linked to the official and unofficial translations in the video description. You can also watch the VOD on Twitch if the only reason you missed out on it was because you were asleep. I mean, goodness, it aired at 3 a.m. What piece of content are you most excited for in 3.1? It sounds to me like exploratory missions are going to be the most robust feature. I'll be covering it all in detail in November, and you can subscribe to the channel to be notified when new videos are posted, and you can follow me on Twitter at itsboats for updates and other nonsense. As always, I hope you have a good day.
So you are the warrior of light, the savior of Eorzea.